Chris Cuomo here. Welcome to NewsNation. Right and left come here to be reasonable. Now, tonight we're doing something special. A look at the biggest security threats for all of us. 3 special guests with extraordinary insight into the administration and what it's up against at home and abroad. Now, to me, full disclosure, the most frightening aspect of our security situation here at home is what we just saw in Boulder, Colorado. It's just the latest, and it won't be the last. This Egyptian nationalist terrorist was targeting Jews, and it was no coincidence that burning was his method of violence as he yelled, "Free Palestine." Now, burning, a flamethrower, unusual terror tools. But we know why he did it. There's a specific message to Jews when it comes to burning about the Holocaust. That's why they do it. Did the same thing on October 7th. But be clear. This is not just about anti-Semitism. It is fundamentalism, extreme Islamism in this case. And these people want all of us dead. Do you understand? Not just Jews. It is no coincidence that this attack came so soon after the Israeli embassy murder. We warned of this coming just days before the attack. Remember this? You know what the biggest threat is to us here at home? The threat of radical Islamism. It is on the rise in this country and globally, and I've seen this movie before. You want to be scared? You want to be worried about somebody hurting you? About attacking your kids? Ruining your family? Maybe killing you? None of the things that are on our agenda has any chance of doing any of that to you, except radical Islamism. Last 2 months, we've had 3 major terror attacks. Governor Josh Shapiro's home, firebomb, first night of Passover in April. Chicago man murdered 2 Israeli embassy staffers 2 weeks ago, and now Boulder, Colorado. Now, this is the extreme Islamism. But remember, you had that guy who bombed the IVF clinic. You had the guy who murdered this healthcare CEO, right? You had the people in the protests. You had the guy in New Orleans who drove through the crowd. A lot of these philosophies, if you want to call it, as perverse as they are, may be in conflict with one another, and yet, fundamentalists all share the same goal: to destroy what we hold dear. You and me personally, but also our culture and our institutions. Whether it's destroying capitalism, or destroying the government, or destroying democracy, or destroying infidels. That is all fundamentalism, and it is all playing out bigger than ever on the internet with mostly young men and middle-aged men here. And yet, the administration is choosing to play small ball, in my opinion, to play to the party battle. So they're making what happened in Boulder an immigration issue. Yes, the guy reportedly entered the country illegally. That's bad. Biden's immigration policies were lax. That was bad and helped cost him the election, okay? And he allowed a lot of bad guys in here during that time, not just people looking for work. But if President Trump cares about what can, quote, hurt our country so badly, why not focus on the real threat? Migrants statistically don't make the grade compared to our domestic homicide and sexual assault problems. But forget about that. These are madmen with a perverse cause who are already here in most cases, often citizens. We can't deport our way out of fundamentalism. I get that xenophobia and playing illegal entrants as a marauding horde is a great political play. I understand the pain and the profit taken by using Laken Riley and her family's pain, and the other cases that were dug up by these same people who are propagandists, who want to play illegal entrants, doing terrible things as the great boogeyman that you should fear most. The reality is they are nowhere near the threat to you and me as these fundamentalists. Wasn't bad hombres who did 9/11. Or all the deadly attacks here thereafter. Why exaggerate except for advantage with one side when there's a much more real and scary threat that unifies both sides? You want to be remembered as great? Unifier? This is the issue. No one but the worst parts of the right and left fringe support these psychos. And yet, even after Boulder, President Trump's trumpets ignore the real threat. The Scarecrow and all the other ones feign outrage along with the other righteous righty podcasters. Angry, angry, angry. Why? Because they want you angry. Because when you're angry, you can't think. And of course, what happens because someone shouldn't even be here makes it even worse that they shouldn't even be here. When they murder, when they rape, when they steal, of course. But these people are playing a dangerous game, and I get their motivation. This is how they get their following. This is how they make money. This is why they don't make it in major media. Okay, I know what it's like to be fired by a big media company, but I'll tell you what, I only know one person who was paid a full contract amount just to leave, okay, because of how toxic she was seen as being. But it works. It works in politics. It works on the small stage of digital media. And the really sick part is that's why they do it, okay? Sounding the alarm about extreme Islamism and different types of fundamentalism is the right play for the majority. But our media doesn't play to the majority. It plays to pockets of fringe interests. It plays small ball, okay? That's what we're trying to change at NewsNation. It's really hard because it's easier to pick a side. I'm trying to give issues here that unify both of us because I'm worried for me and my family. This is a unifying issue. They're in the business of playing to the fears of the few. I get it. But the common concerns are what we have to be about. I get that it works better to get you angry about something that will likely never affect you. I mean, seriously, I get it. But how many of you are like, yeah, remember that time that a legal entrant came and did? Come on. How many have had that kind of exposure? One is too many. Okay, fine. Then one terror attack is too many. And we had it on 9/11. Why the hell would we allow extreme Islamism to take root again? Why would we do that? Look, move up to the next point. Here's what I want you to know, all right? I'm not saying that what illegal entrants do or that any criminal group does doesn't matter. But don't you want to prioritize? Fundamentalists are responsible for the last dozen massive attacks on this country. The president says he wants to grow his popularity. Why doesn't he see the potential of this massive unifying issue? Instead of exaggerating threats, he has one that can't be exaggerated. We all lived through 9/11 and the resulting war that took 20 years of our blood and treasure and changed almost nothing over there. Here we are again. The danger is clear and present. An issue that galvanizes the many and deserves the most attention. And if you don't want to make it political, great, make it practical. Instead of using ICE to raid schools and find productive members of communities, several of them, by the way, have been citizens and picked up anyway. Why isn't ICE going after these guys? Holman was supposed to go after the bad hombres. Who's a worse hombre than a fundamentalist? Good for the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, after Boulder, saying, hey, if you're part of this kind of thinking, if we can see that in you and you're here on a visa, you're gone. Good. That's a good tool. Oh, you can't punish thought. That's not 100% true. Okay? It's not 100% true, especially in a visa situation. The New Orleans attacker, the man who firebombed Shapiro, Luigi Mangione, the man who did the Israeli embassy murders, the guy at the IVF place. They're not all jihadists. See, but that's the problem with fundamentalism. That's why I'm so worried about it. Different schools of thought, all targeting the same stuff that we cherish. Democracy, culture, capitalism. It's all under attack from fundamentalist belief systems at home and abroad. And I don't even like the way the Democrats are playing this. AOC and Schumer dismissing the Boulder attack as just anti-Semitism. No. You know why they're saying it that way? Because they don't want to piss off the left flank, the pro-pals. They don't want to do that, who see Hamas as freedom fighters. They don't want to do that. This is way bigger than anti-Semitism. This guy would do you just as dirty as he did those elderly people protesting who were Jewish. If you do a deeper dive into this Boulder attacker, I guarantee you, you're going to find he would have loved to have killed any of us, regardless of our faiths. The biggest threat among most of the recent domestic terrorists is extreme Islamism. And while it's really wrong to do what the president and others have done and say Islam hates us, I don't believe in demonizing an entire faith. Okay, that's the same thing as saying that all Gazans are Hamas. It's not fair. It's not true. However, there is an unsettling, if not disturbing, silence from that community. The Council on Islamic American Relations, CAIR, C-A-I-R, a major Muslim civil rights organization, they put out a statement. We reject the cynical attempts by anti-Palestinian racists and anti-Muslim extremists who seek to use this attack to justify their own bigotry. I flip it, okay? If this isn't who you are as Muslims, then call this guy out and condemn him and the people who are like him. And let me tell you, don't say you do it all the time, because after October 7th, the executive director said he was happy to see Gazans breaking the siege on October 7th. Other members of CAIR justified October 7th as a legitimate attack. That is terrorism. And the data is extremely worrying about how Muslim Americans feel about radical Islam. Recent polls showed that after October 7th, half of American Muslims say Hamas had a valid reason for what they did. 1 in 5 said October 7th was acceptable. There is a need for American Muslims who don't want to be painted this way to make their voice heard, okay? Condemn the poison within your population. And I'll tell you why it matters, okay? I'll tell you why it's not unfair to you just because you believe in Islam. Here's why. You need to build consciousness within the community of see something, say something. Instead of just saying, I have nothing to do with that, so I'll ignore it, we need to have the community where these people are coming from aware of the irregularity. And the only way to get these people before they act is for people where they live, who they know, to say there's something not right with this. But the same message I give about mass shootings. We need the people who are around the people who are in distress, who are thinking this way, to be motivated to speak out about it. This is the same message. And before you say all those people belong to the left, in 2024, Trump won more American Muslim voters than Harris. Why spend time creating a boogeyman when you have a real one? The only answer I can see is two. Past 20 years I've been doing this. The two parties only care about what gives advantage over the other. And extreme Islamism doesn't make one side say the other side sucks. So they'd rather play to immigration because there's advantage in that. And the other one is it's hard to deal with this. And it's easier to play with illegal entrants or trans sports or whatever else they want to bring up. But I'm telling you, this is the #1 domestic national security threat. And that's not me thinking it. It's me being told it by the people who are in the business of protecting. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.